The Shire is a place you walk into, and it's like time hasn't passed in 1,000 years. This place has always looked this way, and it always will look this way. Because this is their way of life, and they don't like change. And maybe not even so much that they don't like it, it's that they just don't have a need for it, because the hobbits are not above doing what they need to. If they don't really need it, for either their survival or their way of life, then they don't have it. That's where they strongly illustrate the principle of subsidiarity that we've talked about. Like, it's all as it needs to be, and as close to your actual home as possible. The families deal with their own affairs. They have virtually no government to speak of, beyond the mayor of Mickeldelving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have the government they need, and it's the mayor, the Thane, so the War Master.
The old Took.
Yeah. The post office, the sheriffs. Yes, you got to have sheriffs, and some bounders to, keep the outside folk at bay. Mm-hmm. Either out or just, within the rules.
Or just, hey, move along, nothing to see here.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of people. And that's the minimum that you need. You need people to enforce law and order when they need to, and you need somebody to settle disputes. Yeah, now, the professed purpose of the Thane of the Shire is the War Master.
Mm-hmm.
The hobbits don't fight. They don't really go to war. The last time they went to war was when the game of golf was invented.
True.
It's the last time a hobbit went to war.
Mm-hmm.
Or the last battle, that was the battle that was fought within the bounds of the Shire.
Yep. Old Bull Roarer Took.
Bull Roarer Took.
Led them into battle and knocked the goblin's head clean off with his club, and it went down a rabbit hole.
And thus the battle was won, and the game of golf invented at the same time.
By the way, just to quickly return to an earlier point, neither of us are libertarians. There's plenty of problems with that. And yet, the best government is the one you need that works for you. The best way to do things is in the lowest level possible.
Yeah.
So, subsidiarity, in a word. The hobbits do that well.
And it isn't so much a small government, it's a simple government.
Hmm.
It isn't its size, it's its simplicity that matters more.
That's a good point. That's a good point for people.
Because I want the government to do virtually nothing. Well, then what's the point? And by the way, do you like roads?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like law and order? Do you like no invasions? Well, somebody has to collect taxes for that.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you need to obey the laws.
Yeah, it turns out that...
Why shouldn't you be allowed to just cross the street wherever? Why do you have to keep to the crosswalk? Well, because the guy that is keeping the enemies at bay told you to. So he's doing that. His job is hard enough without you deciding to throw yourself in the middle of traffic and crossing the street 10 feet from a crosswalk because you couldn't be bothered to wait. I know, that's a pet peeve of mine. I think that we need to have policemen on foot again with whistles that write people tickets for jaywalking and littering, and I think that would solve 90% of our problems because it would cut them out at the root.
I could get behind that. If that was what your police officers were allowed to be concerned with, what they had the time to be concerned with, just imagine how much better your town would be. That's the crap we're dealing with. Not the current crap we're dealing with.
When your police department's biggest issue is we had 5 more jaywalkers today than we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
What is this, National Jaywalking Week? When that's your biggest issue, I think all is well with the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get the sense that the hobbits are...
and when people aren't constantly talking back to the officer. But, yeah, you don't get the sense... Go ahead.
That hobbits are thieves and drug addicts and murderers and all that fashion of people. I think
there's the occasional brawl.
Probably the occasional brawl, and, Bilbo actually had money, so yes, let's try and sneak into his house or sneak off into the cellar and dig a hole in the wall and try and find the gold that
What sneak? They just walked through the front door and started taking things.
Well, there were still gifts to give out, so it was...
There were still gifts to give out, but there were fist fights breaking out over people taking other people's gifts, and
That
it
might
was
have happened,
nasty. That was not at all a flattering. That was not the Hobbit's finest hour.
No, it was not.
That's
But it
not
took
flattering at all.
it took being in a rich house for them to get to that point. Like, I mean, by and large,
not
they're
just-
not doing it.
Not just a rich house. I made this point with you last night when we were planning.
Mm-hmm.
The house of not only the richest hobbit in the Shire, but probably the richest individual among the free peoples of Middle-earth.
One of them, yeah.
Beyond the kings of men. And of elves and dwarfs.
Yep.
Bilbo certainly has nowhere close to the amount of wealth that sits underneath the Lonely Mountain. I'd say as a people, the dwarves are probably the most monetarily wealthy.
That has to be, yeah.
Almost certainly. But their wealth is sort of collective. I don't know. I don't typically think of one dwarf other than maybe the king. So Dane Ironfoot being particularly wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Bilbo as an individual is certainly the wealthiest in that corner of Middle-earth. On that side of the Misty Mountains.
That's very believable, yeah. So again, that mithril shirt is worth more than the Shire and its contents.